All right, we are live. This is Alicia Stringer here from the Millionaire Mindset Hangout, and we've had some technical difficulties this morning. I'm sorry about that. I don't know. The AT&T just called me as I said the internet's slow, so I'm like, hello. So we'll figure that out tomorrow. We'll make sure I'm running because it's been kind of running slow. I'm here in Nashville. It's been kind of a cloudy but beautiful and windy day, so it's been beautiful here, and just the summer weather is just hitting, and it's just really enjoying it, and things are just changing and blooming and going forward and creating abundance in our lives, and that's why we're here. We're here to focus for this hour to keep a millionaire mindset, and so I'm so excited about the book review we're going to be doing today, and so many exciting things coming in the next future and things happening. So, and that's why I'm here doing that, and I have a little girl. She probably can see my little picture that we're just mompreneurs and things, just focused on keeping you a millionaire mindset, keeping you growing forward in your business and your life. So let me introduce more people on my panel before we get into the book review. Let me go over to Valerie or Keisha and come on out.
Hey, Valerie Jampolsky here, the Abundance Mom Freedompreneur from Abundance Now, and I'm here in Los Angeles. It's a little cloudy, but that's okay. It's nice and warm. And for all my friends, all you guys in Australia, I know it's winter, it's a little bit cold for you guys. So I am here. I'm a single mom of twin 5-year-old boys. I'm going to do my usual naked kid alert. I'm kind of controlling the space here so they don't come running out. They love to be naked at home. What can I say? They don't like to keep their clothes on. I'll keep that under control. But I love being able to do what I do so that I can be home with my kids. And actually, I had an injury a couple weeks ago, and really badly bruised ribs. And the fact that I could actually be able to take time and be with my kids, and still have my system, my business running in the background, and being able to do what I do is just such a blessing to have that. And to be able to talk about, I love being able to talk about my passions, talk about things that I love, like this, like talking about book reviews and really positive, powerful mindset ways to help people to really enjoy their lives more and live a better life. So, passing it on over to you, Keisha.
Hello, everyone. Keisha Parker here, and it is sunny here in Philadelphia. I'm a mompreneur of 4 beautiful children and a grandma of 2, and I have the luxury, like these beautiful women, of working from home, helping other people understand how simple and easy it can be. And in addition to that, I'm an accountant by trade, so I do some independent contracting work as well, helping other businesses to stay on track with their business. So I love having the option to use my skills and capabilities wherever I need it. And actually, like Valerie said, creating abundance. And when you know your power, when you know your capabilities and your value and your skills, you can do that, and the universe just always works in your favor. So I love this book we're doing today. I read it years ago, and I actually have it downloaded to my computer. But I was sharing with someone today that we're always at different levels in our lives, and what I got from the book years ago is truly something different, or maybe I want to say I've received more from it today. More from what I've been going over in this last week or so. So I'm excited to go over that information I was sharing at various different levels in our lives. It's good to revisit some of the things that we maybe looked over before, because we can get some added value from it, So I hope you guys get added value from what we share with you today. And I'm going to turn it over to Alicia.
Yeah, thanks, Valerie. I mean, and Keisha does this. I've read the book years ago as well, and it seems like it's one of those study books for me. Comment below if you are here and can hear us and have read the book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and share with us if you've read through it. what you kind of, any summary or anything, insights that you can come out of it. And we always help and grow from each other. I think that's what helps, having that little chat and mastermind. We're able to, grow with each other and learn from each other in these type of mastermind settings, especially when you're doing a book review and either you've read it before, you like to learn it, or one of those on your list and you just haven't gotten to it yet, or maybe it's something you've read in the past and going, I kind of need a refresher of some of these things, because it definitely can help us be better parents, better people, on how you really can affect different people. So I thought we'd just kind of go through and share what are those 7 habits. Kind of want to be clear on what his purpose of this book and everything going through it, so guys can help me out making sure we go through all 7 today and not lag on this hour to go through them all. So I liked his purpose on how the 7 habits of effectiveness really change how we can become better in our characters, of how we develop who we are. And I think that's helpful, because habits are something that I put into as a routine. I put in, especially kids need a routine for their lives to kind of keep them stable, and this kind of helps your sanity in a way, for me at least. I don't know if y'all feel that way, but these 7 habits help make everything seem possible. So if any other insights you guys want to add before we go through all the 7 habits?
What I want to share, Alicia, is that what Stephen Covey mentioned is that the reason why he uses effectiveness and focuses on effectiveness rather than success is because it's looked at differently. Sometimes people just look at success as what is, like, your environment, or maybe the bigger picture, just like long-term success. But being effective in your relationships, being effective in all areas of life, it starts with the small things and being effective with that. And first being effective with like you said, with your habits and your principles, your values that you have in life.
True. All right.
Thank you.
I like that. It gives everything, I think, shared in your habits gives a different perspective, and I like how that changes kind of the way you think. So habit 1 is be proactive, and I think that's so hard when we want to procrastinate so much. To think on the forefront, you got to think ahead of what proactivity means. And
Oh, okay.
looking for the future and making lists. Am I cutting out?
You're cutting it out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. My internet stinks today.
Oh, goodness.
So share with you guys on your tip number 1 on being proactive, especially if I cut out.
Okay. You want to hop in on that?
Sure. Let me just grab my notes I have here. Let me go up a little bit. I apologize. Let's see. Like you said, the first habit was being proactive, and he talked about just always making deposits and withdrawals in people's lives, and that there's always a stimulus and a reaction. So, we have to be mindful not to react, but be proactive. But what's important in that is that if we know the expectations in all of our relationships, if we know what people expect, what they consider and understand to be a deposit to them or withdrawal in their life, i.e., if you think about what I liked about the book is he gave a lot of examples. So if you think about any relationship that you have, and you think about something that happens to you or occurs to you, how you deal with that action or how you deal with that situation is what he meant by be proactive. And when you know what others expect of you, or you know the values that they have, what they place in that relationship, you'll be able to be more proactive rather than react right away and be affected by what actually occurred. You know, the down situation in your life, or losing your job, or Valerie having her accident. You know, she was able to be proactive because she learned certain things in her life where she's not just reacting to it like, oh my God, I just had this major accident, I can't go on. You know, no, she's able to still be proactive and still go on and use those systems that she has in place. That's what stood out for me.
I love that, and I love about, you know, I don't know, maybe this is a different take on it, but the ability to really just be able to reach into someone's life and not be maybe in reaction to something that somebody does or says, but to be and being able to bring a positive perspective, a positive mindset, a positive viewpoint to even who they are, seeing deeper underneath maybe their outside actions into something deeper and more beautiful that's underneath all of us. Don't worry, he's got pants on. So, say hi, Jaden. Say hi.
Valerie, if you were you done? I wanted to mention one other thing.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I made note of is that he mentioned that being proactive, or this habit of being proactive, is being aware that you are the programmer, that you are responsible for your results. And, you know, he talks a lot about principles, and principles are a part of our habits, our values, and our principles. So, and being proactive is also, like I was mentioning before, that you are separate from all that has happened to you. Valerie, you talk about that a lot, that you are not those situations. You are separate from that. And when people can realize that you are not your past, you are not that situation that just happened to you, you are responsible, meaning what he says, that your response makes you able. The response that you have should make you able. Response able. So knowing that you are responsible to create the desired result that you want, but you are separate from that situation. I just thought that was really, really key.
Yeah. Just lost Alicia.
Lost Alicia. Okay, so let me go to notes here 1 second. Hope she can jump back on.
She'll pop back.
And I thought it was me going in and out.
Nope.
I don't know if she had any other notes that she wanted to discuss on the first.
I think we could probably move on to the next one so we can make it.
All right. Sorry, guys. My computer is moving quickly. I mean, slowly here.
I got the better notes, guys. So I'm relying on Keisha and her notes.
I'm sorry. What was that, Valerie?
I said you got the better notes. Relying on you and your notes.
That's okay. So habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. We talk about that a lot in the things that we share here on our Hangout. And it's so important that you look at the end goal. You look at that. Stephen Covey mentioned, and he gave an example of his son, where he didn't appreciate the way his son was behaving. He didn't appreciate. He felt that he was behaving selfishly. And in this book, he talks a lot about our behaviors and our actions, and how I mentioned earlier about deposits and withdrawals. When we are proactive and when we're making deposits into people's lives, we have to check our attitudes and our behaviors. So when we're thinking about the end in mind, the end result, instead of him going to his son and saying to him, you know, you are behaving this way, you this, you that, he says that we should always talk in the let me see if I wrote it down. I want to make sure I say it right. 1 second. And you want to give a message with my instead of you, a my message instead of a you message. So you want to talk about how you are impacted in that situation. So when you think about, you want a better relationship, he wanted a better relationship with his son. So he wanted to make sure his son understood that I have concerns. He talks about in this section about our circle of influence, our inner circle. And we have to continuously work on our inner circle, but the way that we do that is by always work on those relationships. Did you have anything you wanted to share about that, Valerie?
Yeah, I mean, it's so important. I mean, how we communicate with everybody in our life is so important. It affects everything. The vibration that we work with, the vibration that you have in how you how you approach relationships, how you approach your kids, how you approach anybody in your business, anybody in your world is so important. I mean, I recently even had this experience. I went down, get prepared for this big trip with the kids and everything to Bali, and for this incredible mastermind I'm headed to, for me and for the kids, and I had to get our passports renewed for them, and realized time-wise to get it done, I had to go down by the airport, and there was long lines of people and everything, and I had this really I do a lot of inner work in the morning, so as I get there, I had like this very positive space and just helping energy with people, and it was interesting because I felt like I affected the energy of the people in the line. And when we got to people, everybody, the energy coming, the assistance, and I could see there was just watching the other people around me, and some of them, being in a negative space because they'd been there for a few hours or whatever, and we turned it into this big party for the kids, and it ended up, they put up some cool movie on the TV for them to watch, some animated cartoon, Happy Feet, I think is what it was. And it was just, the energy and the experience of it, and my experience of it, and getting things done was so much better. And even calling, I'd called the day before to get some assistance to make sure that everything was done right on the paperwork, and I got someone that wasn't supposed to help me even. Like but I came with such a powerful, positive way of approaching her, saying that I'm going to get some assistance here, and she went out of her way to help me, to give me information that was not her job. She didn't have to. In fact, she probably wasn't supposed to. She probably should have said, go to the website. But she assisted me, and I really feel it came from my positive, happy nature and the way I approached her and my expectation of her. I don't know if that jives at all with what you were talking about, but that was just a very powerful experience that I went through recently.
Exactly, and you set an intention on what you wanted to happen next, so you thought about the end in mind. And Stephen Covey takes it a step further, and he talks about always having a personal mission statement. So you made a personal mission statement when you knew you were going to handle that. And so he says you always want to describe what we want to be, which is your character, and what you want to do, your achievements. So you knew you were going to be that positive person. You knew that you were going to, approach her. You were being very proactive in the way that you approached her, and you knew what you wanted to accomplish. So that is exactly what he talks about that. And he gave an example from a friend of his, Ralph Kurz. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he says in his mission statement, he wants to succeed at home first, seek and merit divine help, which you were seeking help, right? But that's not divine help. But he goes to, we all, like you said, some people go to the universe. I go to God, right, to seek my help. I depend on God to be my provider and my caretaker and a whole bunch more. But so succeed at home first, seek and merit divine help. Remember the people involved, develop one new proficiency a year, hustle while you wait, and keep a sense of humor. And so, I mean, I just think that when we're dealing with life, we need to just keep all those things in mind. And, I know that reading this book and going over this information, I actually was listening to the audio book, it just really helped me look at some things that I just recently experienced. And not even directly myself, it was through someone else, and I was a part of it. But if I had these things in the forefront of my mind then, I would have responded differently. I would have acted differently. My behaviors would have been differently. So it's going to help me moving forward, and I'm glad that we're taking a look at this book right now. So, did Alicia, so she's not back yet?
Alicia, can you hop out? I just see her picture there. Alicia, do you have sound at all? Able? Nope. Okay. I want to pop out on something that you said about divine help, and it's interesting because for those of you that I don't distinguish between the universe and God. It's the same thing to me, for those of you that may have the same philosophy as well, and that we have the ability to really, for us to be able to take action from within, and that, we are, God or the universe moves through us. And so for me, is that piece to that, just saying, for that piece to that is really allowing, being open and willing to hearing the wisdom from within, that's always from within us, to really be able to say and ask ourselves, what can I give in this moment? What is my wisdom? What is my next step? What can I do? And have the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, working through me, working through you. And because then that leads into positive action, into or what Michael Bernard Beckwith might call inspired right action. For those of you that I know are also follow Michael Bernard Beckwith and Agape the way I do as well, that inspired right action, to really be asking, if you want to say, how can God move through me in taking that action? How can the universe source move through me? And what is my next inspired right action? So that's sort of my personal semantic languaging, because I know we have people watching this with a lot of different backgrounds. That's how I utilize the language for myself, if that assists anybody watching this.
Awesome.
Whoop, Keisha. Whoop, you up? Oh, you're frozen. You are frozen. Ah, see, you're frozen up there. Okay. Let's see. I want to can we see maybe if we have any comments and stuff from on the page from any of our anybody watching, listening. Also, by the way, if you are with us and you're watching this in replay, please comment. You're here with us. Time and space, all of that is in a way irrelevant. Oh, my little one's in the background. So I'm going to mute myself out. Keisha, if you can take a look and see if we have any.
Can you hear me, Valerie?
I can hear you now. Let's see. I can hear you now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you were frozen there.
All right. Because my computer is doing something a little funky, but it's actually frozen.
I can't see you. I can just hear you. When I click on you for your face, I see you down below, but when I click on you, the screen is blank. So can you say something? I want to see if I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm going to mute myself out so you can talk.
All right. So you wanted me to check to see if we have any comments on the screen. I don't want to be clicking around too much on here, because I'm having a little trouble with my computer. And otherwise, we'll just go on to habit number 3, which is putting things first, okay? Putting things first. This is the put first things first. This is the habit that he talks about, where he gives the
we lost Keisha. Now we have you, Alicia. Do you want to hop into the next part of it?
This has been technically fun, I tell you. Sometimes I hear y'all breaking up, and then I see different things on my end too. So hopefully my internet will be decent enough for us to make it through another one. I don't know what's going on. So we're on habit 3, and I just heard Keisha say, put first things first.
Yes.
And she had something very valuable she was going to share, but I don't remember where she was going with that. She had some really great notes she's been sharing. And I found a really good review that, just simply asked us a question: what one thing could you do if you are doing now, if you did it regularly, would it make a tremendous difference in your business or personal life? And that's when you just think of that habit that you're wanting to create, that leadership, the role that you want to put, the first thing you want to do. So that's why I was trying to think of, what is my, list of things that I just want to do first, and make sure I kind of get done. First things first. And sometimes when I was in this first challenge, I was doing a 90-day challenge for the first time. And the things that they had us do was the absolutely worst thing, like this thing that we really absolutely hated to do and that was usually put on the last of our list, we had to go and do it first. So usually it was like cleaning our house and cleaning the car and everything else. So it says go ahead and get all the cleanup done, all the things that you hate doing first, and that really sets your mindset and everything going on all the stuff that you know you can do, you can accomplish and everything. And it helps us manage the time a lot easier, because if you put that hardest thing first, it's going to make everything else like so much smoother things, because you kind of gotten over that hump of that you're really dreading maybe in the first place because you didn't do that worst thing that you knew you didn't want to get accomplished. So that's the kind of thing that I always think of going, I've got this huge list. Now, what's the absolutely worst thing that I can do and get it over with? And everything else seems clear. So I liked all those different examples that he gave in here. How about you, Valerie?
Yeah, that's extremely powerful. Do the thing that you want to do least first and get it done. And it does. It has releasing factor. Releases the energy for everything else. I just ditto, big old ditto on that. Back to you.
Okay, there had some tips at the and just identifying your role, and when you're doing those first things first, as a in business or family or in your community and church or whatever, and know those different roles that you play so that you can be first in those different hats that you want to say as that you are in those in your life. The next habit, hopefully Keisha can come out and share some insights. I hate that her internet's really slow as well for her. We've got to figure out a different Wi-Fi spot for her or something soon. And me, I just got to call the AT&T people. So here on habit 4, we are seeking to understand, then be understood. And the most important to know in mastering this habit number 4 is to listen. And it's so empowering to just be, when I think of listening, I think of more ways to be aware, because your listening comes with all the different senses that you have. You have your ears, you have your eyes, you have your heart for feeling and touch and meaning. And when you're aware of all those different senses around you, you become more powerful in the listening and what you can observe that you can really take in. And it's just different how you are listening in the different environments that you can put yourself in. So what is the most empowering environment for you to create the most awareness out around you, and where you can put your emotional deposit self in these different situations? So they give you a couple of examples in this book on how we can, really truly take a deeper part of our listening, especially when it matters most. How about you, Valerie, on habit number 4, seek to understand, then be understood?
Yeah, I think that's incredibly powerful, and I want to speak to something to the concept of listening. And there's 2 ways of listening. You can be listening from sort of the limited perspective, the viewpoint of negativity, and judgment, and self-judgment, judgment of others, or you could be listening from source, from wisdom, from that really powerful, heartfelt place. And I'm just going to say is listening from your heart, because I really think there's a very different thing if you're opening up and listening from your heart, or if you're listening with judgment, just waiting for the other person to speak so that you can say something to them. Really opening up your heart and your life and listening. And even if you're even listening to your own inner thoughts, what voice are you listening from? Are you listening to yourself from a place of self-judgment? Are you listening to yourself even in your own thoughts? Are you listening from heart? Are you listening from source? Are you listening from a place of love? And because that's who we really are. So we can always choose to do that. And that's just sort of like and again, I learned that recently. Michael Bernard Beck with just the way who you're listening and who you listening and who you listen and who's speaking. Listening to who's speaking. And if you're listening to yourself, who's speaking? Is it speaking from that place of negativity, or is what is speaking from the voice of wisdom and love and all of that? And same thing when you're listening to someone else who's speaking. So it's listening and listening from your heart and listening to where the person is speaking from as well. That's sort of my added thought on that.
True, very true. I think if you get it from your heart, that's where it stands. I mean, that's where it should come from. Habit number 5 is think win-win. And I like how you have to think more powerfully, and a lot of the compromising of the win-win situation, because you're taking that, like a lot of people say, the ego out of the way, and really working how you want both parties to win and get a good respect of both aspects. So I'm always working towards the win-win situation and knowing the other situation so it can be more of a win-win. It talks about the 3 traits of a win-win: integrity, maturity, and abundance mentality. And these are 3 very powerful ways to look at those traits of the win-win, so you can have the best advantage of it. Any insights for this one, how you can manage and think more powerfully in the win-win situation?
I love what you're saying. Integrity, what's the 3? Integrity, maturity, and abundance mentality, correct? Is it you just listed?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, for me, obviously, I'm going to jump right into the abundance mentality perspective, to really have this awareness that, there's more than enough in the universe. There's abundance. That can be abundance of time and abundance when you have a sense that you have everything. That it really is. I mean, any dream that you've ever had, it's always yours. It's always been there. And when you come from a place of abundance, you have the space to be able to be there to assist others as well. Again, another incredible example. Just a story. I mean, I don't say this is what's stuck in my head right now. Michael Bernard Beckwith talks about how he was traveling and came across, they were about to miss a plane, and someone came across and decided, that there are a lot of people going, oh, it's not my job, I can't help you, I'm on my break, da 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 da. But there was another person that was just like, you know what? Let me assist you. Let me help you. And really being able to assist people when you have a sense of feeling like you come from a place of abundance, then you have the time as well to really, you don't feel like you're always rushing for time. I mean, I have a particular friend that's always the first words that come out of her mouth is, I'll talk about it, I don't have much time, right? And it's really having this sense of feeling of abundance in everything that you do, not only just that it's already yours, but even in the way that you communicate with people. I think having that feeling and that sense, if you can think like right now, anybody who's watching this right now, imagine, let's take this little example, imagine right now, imagine you're a billionaire. Just imagine it, you have it, right? It's yours, it's there in the background. How would you feel in the moment about whatever you were doing? It's yours. It's there. It's in the bank account. It's yours. You're a billionaire right now. Never mind million, billionaire. Let's just go to some massive opulence place if you allow yourself to even go there, right? And that feeling, that kind of like almost like a relief, or like a lot of worries go away. Like talk about money and stuff, but you have it. You have absolute health. You have incredible love in your life in all areas. It's just you have it. It's yours, right? What do you do? How do you react? How do you handle things in the moment? For me, I would when I play that little game with myself, I handle things very differently when I come from that place of absolute abundance, right? Because the reality is, if you really were a billionaire sitting here right now watching this, right? It's like the situation's just kind of like hanging out there in the background. You can think of a situation hanging out in the background of like, I am in debt and all this other crazy. So instead, I'm abundant. I have all this. Right? How do you react? How do you do things? How do you take care of what's in your environment? That's just something that came up with me from me right now to share. I don't know where that came from. I haven't thought about it in a while, but just thought I'd share it.
Yeah, thanks, Valerie. It's always, when you have that abundance mentality, you always are in the mindset of more. And it's always keeping that forward and not keeping that balance of the ego mindset of more in a selfless way, but more of empowering more for everybody. So I think there is a good balance in that, and keeping that win-win situation always allows you to control that balance and that thinking as well. Moving over to habit number 6 is synergize. And this one, when I think of synergize, I think of the energy and things that are really put forth. So he gives different examples in this one to help me understand the energy we got to put out for this one. He talks about something in history with Winston Churchill and his efforts on the Great Britain War effort, and all how he present himself with his exercise of habit and his habit of synergy. So this habit of synergy is just the highest activity of life, and how you're just tapping into new alternatives and new powers that you really didn't know you had. You're just tapping into this synergy that and Gable's, I guess some people call it that magical power, or something just inside of you that's coming out, new ideas, new insights that makes you a more powerful person. And I think that goes, in fact, to me, I think of imagination. When you're always having that energy, the synergy to imagine more possibilities, what can be possible, and keeping your mind expanding of that adventure that you want to create. So I love having that magical aspect of understanding the synergy, because it's not going to happen the same way ever again. And you just want to, one of those things you just have to go and experience. You have the synergy, this imagination, and you just want to be full of it. How about you, Valerie? This one's a kind of a tough one to work through.
I love that. I love the idea, and maybe I tend to go off on my own tangents and stuff, but I really love that idea of the energy of the magic of the moment, and allowing, being open and allowing. Really, just a lot of this, I believe, is just being open and allowing and willing and looking and asking the questions, looking for this, looking for the magic, looking for the synergy, looking for this connection of all of us right here, right now, that are watching live. I mean, you can look and see there's people listening, and there's also people even watching the replay. It's always fun and interesting. I go into the replay, and it doesn't matter what day or night time, I just happen to pop in and look. There are people listening and watching this hangout, right? From all over the world at different time zones. And it's like you're connecting. Whenever you're watching this, you're connecting energetically with all those people that are watching at the same time. It's kind of a cool thing if you think about it. And just anything, anytime, even just wherever you're at, that experience, there can be a magic in the moment and a synergy of stuff. Like I think of that whole thing was really a powerful experience, waiting in line to get my passport. I don't know if you were on when I was talking about this, Alicia, but I had to get the kids' passports renewed for this big trip that we're going to Bali. And we're standing in line and waiting with all these people, and the whole process and the community of everybody that were there together doing it and supporting each other, whatever. It doesn't matter where you are. You can have this incredible synergy. I'm going to pause right now because my little one needs me, and I'm going to.
Yeah, it's tricky. I have messages and important messages coming to me at the same time as well, Valerie. So we're going to finish with the last habit here, as sharpen the saw. And this one is, I think, puts it all together when you're really wanting to create a better life and habits in your life, and really truly being an effective person. You want to make sure you're continuously sharpening the saw. And this one gives you really great aspects into this last habit that he explains, and it shares different renewing aspects in 4 different ways to sharpen our saw in different natures, like physical, mental, social, and spiritual. And each of these aspects, we want to sharpen the saw in a little bit in different ways, on how, you know, the physical can help your mental, and how they kind of all intertwine as well. They need to be clarified on the different habits that makes all of these four aspects of our natures kind of put together. So to become strong, you kind of renew the spirit in the way, you know, it kind of, I feel like it just all goes full circle. So he gives several different examples of, you know, how you can really truly put all of these habits together and continuously to improve them as you're making these habits stronger and in your lives. The one thing that really stood out for me is that I think when you take the patience to step back and really reevaluate these four aspects of in your life, and a lot of people take every aspect. So what is my physical goal? What is my mental goal? What is my social, emotional goals? You know, spiritual, and what are my goals in all these? How can you really sharpen the saw? And when you start exercising things that you really want to work on and improve on, just figuring out just one simple thing, that helps you sharpen the saw, that you're willing to admit that you have something that you want to work on and a habit that you want to really work on and change. And I remember that I don't use this group very enough, but there is a Facebook group that was created years ago called the 21 Day Habit. And it seems like once you're able to do a habit effectively for 21 days, you feel like you've really kind of mastered that skill. And that's kind of what it takes to sharpen the saw. And it doesn't matter what habit you're creating. I think at one time I was really struggling mentally as I was going through, you know, the worst time in my life. And I really had to go through some mental challenges. As, okay, I might be starting over on day one tomorrow, but this is my, you know, habit that I'm working on. I want to find a way that I can seek a solution for every day, the part of the day, and I'm not going to have any part of the day. So I think it took me about 10 days on, you know, day number one to accomplish this habit. And once I was able to make it through past day one, I was able to accomplish that one habit I wanted to create. I went through day two, and then I think I went through 3 or 5 days, and then I had to start over with day one. And so it's just like a process that you're able to see exactly what you're able to sharpen the saw with, and admit and show that, okay, I'm going to be sharpening the saw for day number one, but it's going to be, you know, I'm going to work through this till I get to 21 days. And sometimes it takes that as a habit. And I do that with my daily practicing on the piano. You know, I might be doing that same exercise for 21 days until I hit day number one. You know, I'm not going to hit that wrong note again. You know, it's just little things that you really want to sharpen the saw, and you're really focused on it, and you're able to see the whole aspects on how you're going to sharpen the saw to work through that for 21 days. So I know that personally helped me out with this. And inside the book, he gives more examples of stories on different people that was able to break out of their shell, and different personal examples and so forth. So I do encourage you to read the book and get those strong examples and stories that can impact you in many different ways. And I see Keisha has came back. We're able to give any insights here, whereas we're on, you know, habit number 7, or anything else that came out to you, Keisha, as you're out here.
I know, out in internet land. I did have an opportunity to catch some of it from my desktop and listen to you ladies. I don't know if you mentioned it, but what I took away from the sharpening the source habit was, he says you have to do it continuously, and you have to look at the physical, the mental, the social, and emotional. That means get an exercise plan, work out. You have to rest properly so that your mind can be alert. And we talk about it a lot, visualization. That's the mental. Reading these awesome and amazing books like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Planning and writing it down, by having a major definite purpose. All of these things is what he talks about in habit number 7. And doing those activities that, I don't know if you guys heard me, in quadrant number 2, those things that are very important, could be urgent, those things that we don't really, are not as consistent as we should be, but planning it out and writing it out and doing it. And I know I have to do that more often because a lot of times I react or I take action, but this book has helped me to realize that I need to be more proactive, plan it out, get the rest that I need at night, get that exercise. And so I'm excited because I just started a new 30-day program where I'm going to be doing these squats and these push-ups and these planks and all kind of stuff for my abs. And I started a cleanse just yesterday. So I think I'm on board with being effective. So I feel good and that I'm connecting. And social and emotional, having that synergy that you talked about, Alicia and Valerie. I know we talk a lot about community and how important it is to realize how you are part of the bigger picture. In this book, he talked about being interdependent. You can either be independent, independent, and interdependent, which means you realize your place, that it takes mutual actions and mutual work towards the goal, that you need other people. You cannot do it on your own. So, get connected to an awesome community and get that synergy and that security that you need in your life to help lift you up to the levels that you want. And, guys, spiritual is so important to me. When I read my Bible first thing in the morning and do my devotions and I have my prayer, my day just goes a whole lot better. My daughter said to me the other day, "Mom, your attitude." I said, I know what I had to do. I had to get in my word and read some more because I know I wasn't connected the way I should be. So, guys, all of those things are very important with sharpening your sword. And I think I just wanted to mention that. I lost my notes that I had when my computer shut down on me, but that's what I had from, what we were going over, Alicia.
Great. That's great. I love that. And I want to say something about what you said, Alicia, which I just think, oh, it's my little guy. He said, hi. This is Jordan here. I wanted to talk about something about what you said in terms of your process of when you went through that 21-day thing. And I want folks to just really hear this. Is that you allowed yourself, when you didn't make it through that whatever particular habit you were focusing on for that day, you didn't just give up and go, oh, I can't do this. You went, okay, let me see if I can do this the next day. And it may have taken you said 10 days to even make it through one day to connect with that one habit. And you kept going. And then you go and say, okay, I'm going to go to next day 2, day 3. And you make it all the way to maybe day 4, day 5, and then it would fall apart again, but you didn't give up. You allowed yourself to be, it's okay. And you went back to square one and you did it again. I think that is so huge. To allow yourself that if you don't make it, like if you're, because creating the habit 21 days, if somehow you're not making it all the way through to the 21 days, you got to go back to square one, even if you can't make it through day 1, right? And you say, it's okay. I'm going to do my best for the rest of the day, and tomorrow, it's kind of like the last moment is gone. It's history. It doesn't matter. All we have is the here and now. What we have is the here and now. We're living in the here and now, and to let go of the past, to let go of a mistake that you might have made even 5 seconds ago. Let it go. And it's okay to start over. It's okay because what really matters is, because this moment, here and now, it's always going to be here and now. Even tomorrow, it's going to be here and now, right? And to allow yourself that process of that. But if that's what happens, to not throw your hands up in the air and go, well, I can't do this. But that a lot of people in their process of getting to that place of really changing, and instead of looking at things that need to be quote-unquote fixed, I'm going to throw something else out, that we already are inherently who we really are. We're perfect loving beings. And it's really a matter of more allowing yourself to be more of who you really are. And that includes letting go of self-judgment. right? And so allowing you to let go and start over again in this moment, whatever it is, start from this moment now, because that's all that matters, and you just keep coming back to it and releasing. Guilt is not going to help you. Guilt does not help. It really doesn't. It might seem to progress and propel people forward, but in the long run, anything that's going to stick is going to come from a place of positive, a positive, happy place. You know, and I love what you were saying as well, Keisha, about what you do in the morning. For me, it's digging into my positive audios, and I love Agape Live, which for me connects me with the universe, however one you want to call God or whatever, and I'll connect in with that, or with Abraham Hicks, or some other, Bob Proctor, some really positive things that I'll have, different audios that I will have, but staying connected first thing in the morning, allowing myself into that space, allowing myself to have that time, does affect my ability to do these kinds of things, to really stay connected to the positive stuff, and allow myself that when I get, and one other just quick tip I'm going to throw out there, somebody's telling me to do this. If you catch yourself, right, if you discover that you have inadvertently got, especially if it's a negative thought pattern thing that you've been working with, allowing yourself to stay in a positive space and not self-judgment, and going into a place of allowing yourself to just take that next step. The moment you notice that you've gone down, you've discovered, oh my goodness, I did it again, I went down that negative path, or I didn't do that one habit, whatever it is you're working with. What I've discovered is really powerful for me is to get excited by the fact that I noticed. Because oftentimes we run through life and we're just going on reflex. We're just operating on emotional reflex. We reflectively react to our environment and emotionally react to it, and just go through life in survival mode, where I call like what is it? Your fight or flight, right? And instead of being that, the moment you notice that you're in the process of changing a habit, the moment that you notice it, instead of getting down on yourself, give yourself massive credit for having noticed it. Because the moment you do it, you're separating yourself from whatever negative pattern that you're attempting to live in a more positive space from. You notice it, you're not in it anymore, you're the most powerful part of yourself, and you go, okay, from this moment on. The Japanese call it honamyo, from this moment on, right here, right now, okay, great, I start from here again, and that's good. It's great, I noticed it, and that's a victory. And that'll, in and of itself, raise your vibration and allow you to move on to the next step. Instead of going down a spiral negative, believe me, I've done it, spiral negative place inside of, oh, how could have I done that again, kind of thing, because it just doesn't, it's not helpful. Give yourself a break. Get excited when you notice you've made a mistake, when you've noticed you we call it backslid, whatever you want to call it, and allow yourself to the next moment. Just wanted to share that part.
That's awesome. I love your insights, Valerie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you guys like to connect with us on a deeper level, we got some links below for you to learn more about what we do and our community and how we grow each other, all on this millionaire mindset. So thank you guys for coming this week. We've got some more powerful things coming in the future this month, and look forward to more things. It was great masterminding with you guys on the 7 habits of highly effective people, and I'm so excited to apply this now moving forward. It's just a really refreshing review. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Somebody's just telling me to just check. Do we have any comments in the chat that we want to pull out?
I didn't see any.
Okay, cool. That's right. Afterwards, anybody that you want, if you're watching the replay, feel free. We'll be checking in. Thank you, everyone. Yes, connect with us below if you haven't already, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Valerie.
Bye.